Dr. Azar, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. Let's start off here. Maybe if you can give us your reaction when it comes to South Africa being formally removed from the grey list. A number of economists saying, well, this was expected. What is your view?
Without a doubt, I think this was expected, and we see that in the reaction of the Rand's exchange rate in response to this. There was an initial flurry of a little bit of an appreciation, but the currency has settled back down to where it was earlier in the day, which is at a fairly strong level. But, one finds it difficult always to distinguish between the different forces influencing the currency. In recent weeks, the surge in the price of gold has been a huge support for the Rand. Also, combined with that, associated with that, the fall in the value of the dollar because of fears of high levels of public debt in America and pressure being put to bear on the United States Federal Reserve Board by President Trump, which has compromised confidence in the value of the dollar. And that has boosted the price of gold and the price of emerging market currencies such as the Rand. So it's difficult to distinguish has the Rand risen because of those factors or because of the expectation that we would be removed from the grey list? In exactly the same way as was the case in early 2023, when the Rand was weakening sharply and we couldn't discern whether that was due to dollar strength, due to South Africa being implicated in illegal arms trafficking with Russia or with a Russian ship, or whether it was because of the impending being put onto the grey list because of not doing enough to fight money laundering. So this is good news, but I think it's been largely anticipated. Back in June, as Mr. Momoniat indicated, the Financial Asset Task Force already indicated that the country had fulfilled all 22 requirements to get off the grey list. And we're not alone. The other good news is Nigeria, another African country, has also got off the grey list today.
Staying, with that aspect of it and what it took to get to this point, maybe just take us through, those 22 action items which South Africa was given to abide by in order for it to be removed from the grey list.
They were very specific areas of regulation that were demanded by the FATF. And here I must commend Mr. Momoniat because he's been spearheading the attempt at trying to get us off the grey list. And one by one, we tried to tackle every one of the problems. And ultimately, we got the success. We fulfilled every requirement. But as he says, some people were already a little scared that we might not be lifted because of the whole corruption cases that are, and in the police force issues that are being discussed in the Madlanga Commission. But clearly the FATF didn't care about that. It looked more at the regulatory action and the legal steps that have been put into place to quell money laundering. And as Mr. Momoniat says, a lot more needs to be done. But for the moment, we've done the minimum that was required to get off this grey list, which in turn involves an easier set of processes through which to conduct business activities for foreigners with South Africa. And that should encourage some form of investment, which was dissuaded by the increased cost of trying to abide by the impediments put by grey listing.
And Dr. Azar, what does it mean now that South Africa has been removed from the grey list? And maybe if you can just give us an insight, did this impact the country's economy?
It's not clear that how much it impacted upon it. Theoretically, it was meant to, or being imposed on a grey list was meant to add a lot of cost to doing business in South Africa. And here and there has been evidence that it did do so. Whether it was disastrous, I don't think so. We are still here and we're still going strong. And conversely, removing us from the grey listing will not necessarily ease the plight of doing business dramatically, but it certainly at the margin will do so. And more importantly, I think it sends an important psychological message to potential investors that we are really open for business, and we've got processes in place to prevent some of the the ravages of malfeasance.
And Dr. Azar, a bit earlier on, you mentioned something very important, of course, and that is the Madlanga Commission. And at the same time, we have the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, and a lot of allegations are coming out there. Do you think that there is a possibility, because of all these corruption allegations being levelled, be it at the Madlanga Commission or the Ad Hoc Committee, can South Africa be placed once again on the grey list because of these corruption allegations?
That was the very reason why there were a few analysts who still thought that, the FATF might change its mind and not move us off the grey list. But I, for one, have been so encouraged by these latest developments on the judicial front, because I think it has really been a stepwise increase in the awareness of the general South African public to what is going on. And hopefully that will arouse more and more involvement in the political landscape from people who have previously been just sitting back and watching this. And I think it's a path to begin to really come to grips with some of this corruption. There are cynics who say it is so deeply embedded that we'll never get over it. I don't believe that. I'm an optimist, and I believe that with what is going on and with all the truths or untruths coming out of these commissions and judicial processes, I think we could be at a turning point where we really and truly do start tackling these issues on a more constructive and efficient way.
Dr. Azar, thank you so much for your time. That's Director and Chief Economist at Econometrix, Dr. Azar Jammine there, just giving us his reaction to that news coming in this afternoon, that South Africa has officially been removed from the grey list.